Hey, I'm excited to have Jeff Sagraves with me today from Blue Line Technologies. I'm Brent Thompson, a business coach at Action Coach Lake Norman. We're your local training, education, and business coaching firm. And Jeff, just to get us started, just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you and maybe your business, your products and services, and we'll get going here.
Sure. So I'm Jeff Sagraves. I am the CEO of Blue Line Technologies, and we do IT support and cybersecurity for small businesses across the Carolinas. So fairly self-explanatory. Anything technology related, and especially when it comes to protecting your business and the cybersecurity needs, that's what we do.
Got it. If you were to start from square one, being a business owner as long as you have now, what would you do differently?
I don't think we have enough time for that on this particular interview, but when I started, I came from I was with Big Five Consulting. I used to work for Accenture and then IBM Global Services before I came here, and so with four kids, and it was time to get off the road, and I just knew I wanted to do something differently, and I didn't know what it was, and so I was looking at acquiring a small business in the Carolinas somewhere, so I didn't have to travel anymore. I was in a different country, literally a different country every week for about 5 or 6 years, and so it was time to do something that I thought will keep me at home, be more fulfilled, and spend time with the family. So I started off this business by looking to acquire a firm. Again, it wasn't necessarily a technology firm. I just wanted to go into something out there locally. So searching kicking tires and turning over stones, I found a small IT services company, three people. They were doing about $600,000 a year in revenue, and I thought I can do that. I think what I would have really done differently is realized that the company at the time, given where I was coming from, the loans you have to take out to get a business started and acquiring, it was way too small to really be successful in starting a business. If you're going to be an owner operator and really you're buying a job is what I was doing. And when it comes to making enough income, the revenue needed for that firm and being able to pay myself and any loans that were going to be needed to buy that first company, it was really well below the threshold of what I had any business of doing. So that is number one, was
Mhm.
just figuring out that if you're going to buy a business and get started like I did, just make sure you understand the cash flow, which I didn't quite understand at the time, what that means, and how that's going to really impact your pocketbook, as well as the company and all those other people that have their hand out at the same time.
Got it. That kind of piggybacks into my next question about your biggest learnings. And I think you kind of shared that. So let's dig into that just a little bit. So knowing that and say, hey, I would do this differently, and I've learned from that, what do you think you could have done back then specifically different in order to not have the result that you had?
Ultimately, it's worked out. It was a challenge. We've been growing 25 to 30% every single year. Those first couple of years, just from a cash flow and be able to pay myself, of course, pay the employees, and knowing the way our business works, revenue typically follows the service, or the cost. Revenue follows about 60 days. And when you're growing that fast, and then you have 60 days of cash that you have to be spending before it actually comes in the door,
Mhm.
understanding how important cash is and the cash flow, it took me about 18 months to realize that I needed to open up a line of credit. After that 18 months, I forget what the line of credit was, but it was maxed out in another probably 12. It just the cost of running a business and carrying cash and carrying the expenses, it's pretty expensive overall until you get to that run rate where you're able to put some savings in to have enough cash flow to fund your next month of service. What we do is, as a services company, a lot of what we do is consulting fees, which means it's our employees are our biggest cost. And
Mhm.
so there were many, many months where I'm pulling from my own personal savings, or selling something so I can make a payroll move. And the first five years were tough.
Yeah.
for sure. So really learning what cash means and how important cash is was it was kind of an MBA on the fly.
Wow, that is so good. So I hope you guys out there are listening. That's some great advice. So from the outside looking in, a lot of people have their own perspectives and opinions of what being a business owner is. So what are some common misconceptions that you hear about being a business owner from the outside looking in, and how do you address those things?
I guess, especially as a small business owner, and it depends. You know, when I started, it was three people and myself. I don't work in the business. You know, there's an old adage, you know, work on the business and not in the business.
Mhm.
And when I started the firm, I really I'm not an IT person. I'm not technical. I don't do the cybersecurity side, but I'm running the business and looking at the operations and what we're going to do in the future. Uh, but that also means, as a small business owner, you have to realize that I'm the one that steam cleaning the carpets on the weekends, or when we were in a smaller place, coming in on the weekends to clean the bathrooms, stock in the kitchen, whatever it needs to do to keep the people that are delivering services and out there in front of the customers, running interference so they can get their jobs done. And so it sounds like a business owner is this big glamorous title, but there's a lot of dirty fingernails and scrubbing and doing the grunt work that goes along with that, to make sure that the business is successful. So you
Yeah.
do whatever it takes to make the business run, and sometimes that's not the business owner. Sometimes you're the janitor. So
Yeah.
chief cook and bottle washer, you've heard before, but that is absolutely the truth.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, before we got on here, I was actually just straightening up. We've got a larger suite now than we did then, but I was running the vacuum in the kitchen area because it just had to be done. Who
Mhm.
else?
Yes. You do whatever it takes. And a lot of folks, they see the end result of 5 to 10 years of really hard work, and they think, oh, that just must have just happened overnight, right? That
Yeah.
is not necessarily the case. But so you've learned a lot. I've heard some of your learnings, and you've had some growth. What would you attribute your growth to?
So in our business, I know every business and every field is unique. For us, with IT services for small companies, everybody needs what we do.
Hmm.
Most companies already have a firm that does what we do, because there are many other companies out there that do IT services. So you have to be in the right place at the right time. Whether it's the client has an incident, so they're going to change from one company to another, or they've grown, so they've outgrown the current provider, and it's very expensive to market and to always be in front of companies when they have that right time, when they're going to make a transition. So ultimately, our strategy for growth has been retain our customers, which is very, very important, growing our footprint in our existing client base, but more importantly, acquiring other firms in our field across the Carolinas. So in the past 10 years, we've done 7 acquisitions. So versus spending a lot of time and effort on marketing or websites or mailers or Google, we've gone out and made the decision that we're going to buy book of business, basically.
Okay.
So it's a completely different way of going out and growth, and it's fueled our growth. And really, in the same amount of, I've done the analysis on the cost for marketing
Mhm.
versus the financial side of buying a company. It's kind of a wash, and yet right away we've got a run rate with clients that we can then bring on board and then grow in our own model. So
Yeah.
kind of a different trend on the growth and how we got there.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. All right, as a business owner, we know and we hear all the time about work-life balance. It's a huge thing. It's always been huge, but you hear a lot more of it this around right now in the work environment. So for you, how do you manage your work life with your home life, and any pointers you could give to at least have some semblance of balance to other business owners out there?
I think I started off with saying that the whole reason I started this company and this endeavor, because my work-life balance was all messed up
Hmm.
with the kids and the travel and everything else. And so being able to be home for dinner is pretty important when you got the family at home. And so I've just made the decision, one, to surround myself with good people that can make sure they operate and they don't need a lot of hand holding. But my work-life balance is, we were talking, before you started the episode here.
Right.
My side hustle is I coach high school sports, and
Hmm.
and so you have to prioritize what's important to you and to
Hmm.
your family. And in some ways, yes, growth of the company might suffer a little bit. Could we grow in a couple of points faster?
Hmm.
But you also have to remember that you got to have fun doing it. So you got to keep that all in mind. So every day I'm on the fields about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, out there with a big group of trying to make the individuals better. And it's just what fuels me is not just the company and being here every day, but also trying to give back to the community and also that group that I work with.
Awesome. You mentioned your team and that you had a good team. So when you are in the process of looking to bring someone on with your company, what qualities or attributes do you look at? And then kind of further on to that, what is your strategy or how do you go about just fostering a healthy, positive environment and culture for everybody to come to work to every day?
Well, it's important to know that everybody, especially in our field where we've got cybersecurity and technology, and with what we do, it's kind of a unique characteristic that we have to have people that can go into a customer location, talk to them about their future strategy for technology, and at the same time be able to crawl under the desk and hook up a cable or monitor. So you have to have people with the knowledge, the personality, the skills, and really the desire that they can, similar to what I was talking about before. I'm a chief cook and bottle washer, but sometimes you got to get your fingernails dirty, and it's not all glamorous being an IT consultant. So
Mm-hmm.
you want to find that right balance of somebody that has able to talk on the phone, which we do a lot of remote support, be able to be in front of a customer and they're not afraid to talk to people and interact with people, and they also have not necessarily the best technology background and skill set, but if they are the right characteristics and they have the desire, we can train them
Right.
and bring them up in our kind of the way we do things and our methodology. So it's very important to find that right personality, the right individual, and make sure that they have the right career goals in mind, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll get them there. And then as far as building a culture, we do a lot of things as a group. Whether it's every year we've got kind of a rotating set of things we do with our team. So we'll go to a Knights game with our team and their families. We've rented out the bowling alley in Pineville for you folks here in the Charlotte area, where they have a great setup. We rent the whole thing for our team and their families, and dinners, and just get together. So we work as a unit. There's no competition amongst the team as far as if you do more work, I'm going to get paid more. We really try to have it so as a group, when we're successful, everybody's successful, and make it that way. And as a result, in 10, almost 11 years, we've had, I can't really remember the last time somebody left the firm.
Mm.
Almost zero turnover within our environment. So it's a good group. We hire right and keep the team intact.
Very good, very good. So there's plenty of entrepreneurs that are out there right now aspiring to start a business from some form or fashion for some reason or another. What advice would you give that person that's trying to start a business in where we are right now in business from all that you've learned? What are a couple tips you could give them as they start out?
Don't wait. So and there's never going to be a great time to do it. You always hear so many excuses that people make. Have to wait until this, have to wait until that. If you find a good business, you find a good method, a product, or whatever you have. Obviously, you need to make sure you've got the financials in mind and how you're going to do this. But there's no better time than right now to make that leap and do something. And I always, whether it's an acquisition or going after something big, I always ask myself, what's the worst possible thing that could happen? And so when you think about that, sometimes you have to do that. We talk about SWOT analysis and different things, but what is the worst possible thing that can happen? If you start a business, you run it for a couple of years, it doesn't go the way you want it to. Oh, okay. You were doing something before then. Will that still be there for you? And if not, have you learned something that you can apply then in the next career opportunity? But why not now and why not you? I guess is my big advice I'd say to anybody that's looking to start a business.
Very good. Very good. All right. We're going to wrap up with one last question. How can we, as consumers out here, find you? What's the best way to get in touch with you if we're in need of your services?
The best way is just check us out on the website. We're at bluelti.com. So it's Blue Line Technologies Incorporated. So bluelti.com. And one of our differentiators is if anybody ever needs IT support, we answer our phone. That is really our model versus sending an email. And so just give us a call. The phone numbers are right there on the website. It's feel free to get, it's 866 Blue LTI. Easy enough, and find us that way.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Thank you so much for all you're doing in the community, and thank you for taking time and sharing with us out here on your business success and how you've grown. And I wish nothing but the very best for you and your company going forward. Take care.
My pleasure. Thanks.